Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
Let's see. Do we
Maybe
have it?
it's better that way?
We don't have anything yet.
Nothing yet?
No.
Stop it.
Oh. I think
Yeah,
we're
we're
good
good,
now.
we're good.
I think if Josh B or Michael Butka could confirm.
Classic
but,
Monday, dude. No, yeah, it's going great, dude.
Josh
I
B
fucking
said
love
we're
it, dude.
back.
No,
We
yeah,
are
it's great,
back.
dude. This is great,
And
dude.
like I said
No,
before,
yeah, this is sick.
when I was muted,
Yeah, this is awesome.
welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing all right now, dude.
Come on, Tony.
No, it's gonna be great to be back for another week of shows, Brian. And obviously, I'm excited to hear about your weekend specifically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, tough loss.
Tough
dude.
loss. Michael Butka reeling.
Can't, dude, can't.
You know, and we'll get to that in a second. But I guess, we a couple comments. Maybe we just start with those. Kind of set the tone right first, Tony, if you want.
All right. I mean, if you say it, Brian, let's set the tone here. Michael Buckta says, "Man, it's Monday. Fuck, dude. Talk about setting the tone, you know." And he's asking about your weekend, the Carmines. Would you eat? Are we due for a meal at Carmines over his spring break? He
We
wants
talked
to know.
about it, the weather, the change, the funds, Tony. So we'll talk about it, Michael.
And then he also shout out to TCA and DTV. Ernie and I had a little bit of contact over the weekend.
There we go. So
Wow,
Ernie from
interesting,
Kearney.
dude. He's all about making new friends, he says. Also, the Lakers blew the doors on the effing chicken nuggets on Saturday. It was a thing of beauty to see. Also, vote Barnes for president next race, he says.
Boy, I mean, talk about a big undertaking, Tony. I don't know if I have that in me.
That would be kind of crazy.
Political office?
Political office. I mean, even just the process of campaigning, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be exhausting.
Yeah. I
know?
prefer, just going to, Yankee games and,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could only canvas there, I suppose, if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Josh P. also says, "Yo, what up, fam? Happy Monday." Matthew Gabriel in the house says, "Let's go, dude." And then Matt also says, "Rangers stink."
So good to hear from Josh B, Matthew. And then Michael Buck apparently can see me in a black suit and tie at one of my rallies.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, Tony's never seen me. I guess maybe you've seen pictures or something, but I mean, in the
I think
flesh,
one picture. I think
one
I've seen.
picture in the flesh you haven't. Josh B riled Butka.
Yes.
And then he says he's my secret security. I mean, whew.
He wants to be your head of
I
security,
mean,
dude.
Michael, we might need to get you on the bench press before.
Yeah, no,
Give you
definitely
the
gonna
nod
need to
there.
gain a few, take a few classes.
Take
maybe.
a couple off of me, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my god! And then he's getting impatient now. He wants to know what you got at Carmine's, dude.
All right, Michael.
So let's go. This Sunday that was, dude.
Well, Sunday that was, but before we actually, because that was after the game. So just talking about being at the game and the game itself, really was in terms of the outcome, just a complete disappointment going into this. Listen, I understood that UConn all season just has not played like the UConn we've gotten to know, over the last couple of years. One thing, it didn't have anything to do with how they played, but just being there, I was expecting it to be, more split in terms of like UConn fans, Red Storm. Red Storm, I mean, completely decked out. I guess you could call it a sea of red, Tony. I mean, it was really ridiculous how many St. John's fans were there. And then we were tight, too, because, like, somebody called it out on Twitter, which is funny. But, they're showing Spike Lee on the Jumbotron. And somebody was like, oh, yeah, is this Spike Lee's, like, first St. John's game or something? Like, because kind of, just calling him out, the fraud that he is. But listen, I mean, the crowd was into it, electric from the start. UConn kind of hung in there early on. And then I would say, between like the 15-minute mark and on till the end of the first half, I mean, just completely outclassed, turning the ball over, being broken by Pitino's full court press, and forcing 3-pointers that weren't going down. They did hit some in the second half, but overall, again, you look at this, the total for the game, 26.1%. That is not going to win you games. Overall, 39%. Shooting an abysmal 23 of 59 from the floor. So they weren't good shots. They were forcing them. And then on defense, I mean, St. John's is one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. Everything else, really good. We know how good Lewis is and Richmond. They had a really balanced scoring attack. But they were just kicking the ball around, and they were always finding somebody wide open for three in the corner. And even the, mid-range shots, they were making those. They were getting offensive rebounds. I have to see,
the rebounds,
what the offensive rebounding stats were. But, all of that contributed to them having an 18-point lead at the half. So at that point, you're really feeling like, it's over.
St. John's had 15, by the way, offensive rebounds.
15 offensive rebounds.
UConn actually had more. But
which
still.
It really, that didn't seem, it's funny, yeah, it says that UConn out-rebounded them. I guess they picked up some in the second half, but I would love to see, do they have the second chance points on here? Points off turnovers, 24-10. I mean, that's a 14-point deficit right there. So the turnovers, really playing a part. But yeah, it was just, there was no rhythm on offense. In the second half, Caravan kind of pads his stats to make it look better than it was, but terrible inbounding the ball, no feel, down low, just not taking good shots. So it was a horrendous first half. They go on a run beginning the second half. I think cut it to 9, Tony.
Oh, boy.
But then it just balloons right back up. And, it was unfortunate. And when I look at this, I mean, Terrace Reed had a good game, 15 points, 6 rebounds. But, other than that, I mean, even McNeely, who I'm a big fan of, I mean, 2 of 13 from the floor. The St. John's defense was swarming. And, overall, 14 points, 9 rebounds. It was 10 and 12 at the free throw line, but 0 6 from 3-point range. Caravan, terrible first half, ends up finishing with 17 and 7. But like I said, some hollow stats. And really, I think, so you think about it, you don't have flow in offense. You don't really have a true point guard, which is a problem. Solo Ball, you think should be able to handle that role, but he hasn't. So they're not comfortable with the ball in their hands. They're kind of staying back on offense instead of making aggressive cuts to the basket. And I think that's why you're getting the result that you are. So they end up losing by 15, 9 losses this season already after having 3 last year. So tripling that. You still got a game against Marquette on the schedule. You have the Big East tournament. I mean, you are 10 and 6 in conference play. But I mean, you really have very slim margin for error here if you want to make sure you're going to make the tournament. And you look at the upcoming schedule on Wednesday. You're going to be against Georgetown. And it's like, listen, I mean, you lost to Seton Hall. Who's to say that you can't lose to Georgetown? You got to be up for that game. Then you play Providence on Saturday. That's in Providence. Like, you should win that game, but it's you can't guarantee these things. And then you finish out with Marquette and Seton Hall. So, I mean, really, you really want to win all these games. And at the bare minimum, 3 out of 4. But you could just tell, they need, a
spark.
A spark, kind of a redo, just kind of a refreshing of the team. It's just not good right now. And like I said, they should make the tournament.
Do you think
but
they,
you
think
can't
they will?
assume. I think they will, but you can't assume anything. And I think it just has to start with one game at a time, beat Georgetown, and that's it. So let's see what happens. But that was tough, in terms of the X's and O's, of the game. In terms of Carmine's, though, Tony. Oh, and it was funny too. Not funny, but it's like
You can.
we had a 3:00 reservation. Got there at 2:30 because we left with maybe 5 minutes left. It was over. We're like, let's just eat.
Wow.
So we get to Carmine's, couple bottles of red.
There we go.
And then we start out with the Scarpiello wings. Obviously amazing. The sauce, just unbelievable. So that was a good way to start. And then we stayed with the traditional penny vodka and chicken parm. So that was pretty good. And you would really like this, the Scarpiello sauce, though. Dunking the focaccia bread in the Scarpiello sauce. Stop, Tony. So that was really good. Kind of held off on dessert there. We're going to go to stout. But we went to the other stout, not the normal one that we usually go to because that was closer. It seemed kind of beat, and then we were kind of wandering around, didn't know where to go. We actually ended up at Tony DiNapoli's, had a beer there, got the tiramisu.
Wow, there we go. The dessert.
Which was pretty good. And then we went to one other bar. Something.
Valhalla.
No, not Valhalla, but I'll have to get the name. I think it was Valerie or something, but it was like more of a cocktail bar, so not kind of my thing, but I had like an old fashioned. It was okay. And then we're all set to go up there like, the Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake simulator bowling alley bars around the corner. Let's check it out.
What?
And talking about, this is just something you would just go wild about like, dude, like what's going on here? So we walk up to the place. There's not a soul in there. It's duck pin bowling, Tony.
Oh, no.
And then we go in there. And they're supposed to close at 9. They're closing at 8, and it's barely 7 o'clock. And they go, yeah, we're gonna have last call in 15 minutes. So we're like, all right, yeah, we're just gonna go home. Like talking about a complete embarrassment. Remember how hyped up that thing was, though?
Yeah,
dude. Like the joint venture, JT and Tiger. Just a complete embarrassment.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they don't give a shit. That's tough, dude. I mean, Tiger should be ashamed over there. He would be if he was there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you go. And it was duck pin, string pin, Tony, on top of it. Duck pin and string pin.
I can't, dude.
Possibly the worst combination ever. But that being said, the Carmine's was great. The camaraderie.
What was the favorite thing you ate?
The wings. Always the wings.
Always
the
the
wings are
wings.
good. But the penny vodka is great.
I gotta say, dunking the focaccia bread.
So
ridiculous.
and I had most of it, like the sauce, because
yeah,
everyone was just kind of lingering.
I bet.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So overall,
Gotta act.
Great time though. Just obviously would have liked to get the win, but like we've been saying, I mean, we'll watch March Madness, but it's baseball season. Can't wait for opening day. All of that, Tony.
Yeah. Was it like ticket price worth it? Like the experience?
It's just one of those things where, I mean, obviously, how do you really feel that it's worth it if it's not more of like a close game and your team wins or is right there, or really wins? So that's the tough part. But I never have like regret about that stuff because it's about the time, and the vibe was high, and obviously, like if we were St. John's fans, I mean, it would have been a great game to go to.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. And not for nothing. I mean, you still are out there watching live sports,
Yeah, in the Garden,
sick,
just
dude.
being at the Garden.
At the Garden, dude.
But so that was really the synopsis.
Yeah.
I did see we get a couple comments, a little Michael Buck and Josh B going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's
Spike.
going on here. Yeah, it's interesting that Spike Lee's causing so much commotion, dude. But
Josh defending him, which is interesting. I didn't think he was a big Spike guy.
I mean, I would imagine. I mean, Spike Lee is a big figure for New York City.
But I just thought he took a hit when he was taking pictures of Curry's ass. When he broke the 3-point record.
Yeah,
everyone was kind of hating him. That's what I thought. And people have been calling him bandwagon. I mean, it's not just Butka.
No, true. And around that time, too, I remember. But he was got into a fight with a security guard, right? Because he went back. He went into the garden through the ductor, and they didn't know who he was, young security guard, and he kind of gave him the, "You know who I am," which is never good. Like if you have to say that to someone, like that's not good. But still, I mean, Spike Lee's been a fan of the Knicks though forever. He's always,
the Knicks, but the other stuff seems a little.
No, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, he is a big New York guy. I'm sure for Josh B growing up. Way earlier than I did.
Yeah, like the good times back then.
Yeah,
right now,
and he probably experienced a similar upbringing that Spike experienced in terms of how what the city was like.
Yeah.
But in any case, dude, Here we go. Michael Buckta, Spike Lee is a bandwagon. This is not the UConn team from the past 2 years. And then Josh B, there you go. Stop yourself, Buckta. Spike is not a front runner, bandwagon, whatever. I've never seen Spike at a Red Storm game, says Buckta. So that questions me, my Dalmatian in trading, he says.
But honestly, I've never seen him at a Red Storm game. Maybe I'm not watching the Red Storm.
No, neither have I. But I don't know. Buckta says get the ball down 9. And Caravan fucked up.
Yes, he did. Down low, I remember that play.
Mm-hmm.
Seats were great, by the way. Seats
were great, yeah?
Yeah, section 103, row 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice,
awesome.
dude. Ernie checking in here says, "You're dude." And then Josh B says, "Ernie, what's up, dude?" Ernie says, "Hey, Buckta, Josh is the authority on frontrunner / bandwagon labeling. If he says no, it's no." And he gives a little beep, beep, dude. And then Buckta says, I want no come from behind on Wednesday versus Georgetown. Or he wants to come from behind, like come from. I don't really know. He just wants to win, dude.
Yeah, he means a wire to wire victory. That's what he's talking about.
Okay, wire to wire, dude.
Yeah.
And then Yuli 973 says, "You're good morning, dude. Josh B hype for Yuli.
Yuli, his brother-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wow,
he's been
dude.
in Discord.
Pardon
recently.
me. That's pretty intense, dude. Expanding the fan base. Welcome to the show, Yuli. Michael Buckta says, if Caravan didn't F it up with the ball, might have been a different outcome. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, it was a momentum killer. That's for sure.
How much of this, because I know, again, like the rebuild, the retooling, different teams, the players, are they taking it seriously? A lot is in question. But honestly, how much of this are you putting on Hurley? I mean, do you think he's
players.
Like losing the? Yeah, really.
Yeah,
100%.
I think that I don't think he's losing players. Yeah, I think they just need to play better. Sure, maybe some of the antics don't always help, but at the end of the day, I mean, are we thinking about coaching when players play well? And nobody's going to tell me. Listen, you might say he gets too jacked up, a little too animated. Nobody can tell me with a straight face that Dan Hurley's not a good coach. So I think it's just unfortunate. You lost a lot of guys over the last couple of years. And, the guys that you brought in or the guys that are supposed to lead you like a captain like Alex Caravan just haven't been doing their job. That's the reason why you're not winning. Nothing else.
All right. Thanks for clearing it up, Brian.
I just wanted to make sure you understood.
No, yeah, sure.
Did we get a couple more that trickled in there?
Yeah, I guess so. Yuli says, thank you, my guys. My mother says, good morning. Good morning, Mom. And then he says, Buckta, we have a top 5 recruiting class coming in next year. Eric Mullins and Darius Adams.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's Darius Adams. Somebody's from Connecticut, like really good player. I think he's a forward. Kind of actually want to look this up. By the way, but I just think too, calling cards, championship teams, UConn, point guard, strong. In the middle, strong enforcer, defense, and they don't have that right now, and I think that's why they're not a consistent team.
Yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense. I will say though, dude, I don't know, not for nothing, early in that game because I was watching some highlights, kind of keeping track of when the game was on, especially since I knew you were there. We should talk about whatever. I don't know, dude. I mean, UConn was like kind of started out a little hot. I thought.
No, they did.
And dude, there was a few plays that like St. John's defense had trouble communicating on, and a lot of it had to do with like switches and like pick and rolls. Like it seemed like St. John's was not communicating well. And I don't know, maybe St. John's just made adjustments, maybe down the stretch of the game, but it just seems like why not just hammer that? Like I don't know. I feel like they could have attacked offensively a different way. But I guess that's really the only thing I saw. I was just doing a little research on Darius Adams here, ranked number 19 in the world.
From Indiana.
From Indiana, dude, it looks like. But 6'5", combo guard, who's originally from New Jersey, it says, who attends the La Lemire School, Indiana. He is the 4th best shooting guard in the country. I wonder what happened. Maybe his family moved.
But what about a point guard, Michael Buckta? Who's on points? I mean, I guess solo ball, but like he's got to do a better job.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to locate anyone from Connecticut, by the way.
Yeah, Eric. Yeah. I guess I was wrong.
Oh, Raby.
Eric Raby, though, isn't he from Australia?
Eric Raby.
Or no, he's from Maryland.
He looks like he's from Maryland.
7-foot center. I mean, so that could be your enforcer. Oh, but then it's Jacob Furphy is from Australia.
It sounds like they're going to be really good next year, dude.
No, I mean you're gonna get talent in, that's for sure. But you wanna finish out this year on the right note, and it'll start against Georgetown, on Wednesday. So we'll talk about that then. But like I said, overall, good time with the fellas. Just want to get the W next time. But you would have liked actually Saturday night. We were doing this late night, and I think I missed the second one. I did the first one. Have you seen Ernie was doing it? I guess, is it a pyramid with the baseball players, like the boxes?
Oh yeah.
What is that called?
Oh damn, isn't it called the Impossible Pyramid or?
I'm sure Ernie will say in a second, but
when you got to guess,
what players played on both teams, but you want to pick people that are low percentage of the total people that have done these.
Yes, has picked. Yeah.
I gotta look this up.
I used to do it for a little while, but it was fucking hard, dude. Pyramid game. That's definitely not it. Immaculate Grid?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
There it is.
That's it. The Immaculate Grid. That's fucking hard, dude.
It is.
What, you want to try to do it right now?
It's probably too hard. It'll take like 3 hours.
No, literally, some days I'm like, dude, this is too much.
I did contribute though. I did get Jason Isringhausen, Cardinals, A's,
nice.
4%, I think, and former Met. I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. Isringhausen,
right?
Yeah,
Jason Isringhausen. Do you remember him that much, or just the name Thaddeus Young?
The name a little bit. I mean, I guess he was on that A's team, right? That fucking almost
with
went on.
Giambi?
No, the year after. He was the year after when they did the whole Moneyball thing.
Yeah, but Giambi was part of Moneyball.
No, I thought Giambi left before.
Oh, but you're basing it on the movie, is what you're saying.
But Giambi and
No,
Damon,
Giambi and Damon, I got
both
you. Yeah.
left.
But again, you're basing it on the movie timeline, right? Is that why you're saying it?
Well, yeah, but that's
actually
that's
what
the
happened.
real timeline.
I know what I'm saying
though.
is that's what's making you think of it. That's all I was asking.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
I mean, jeez.
But yeah, it is crazy how much talent those teams had. And they traded them all away. Still stayed competitive, and then the owner got cheap, and that was that.
It's tough, dude.
But it seems like they're kind of headed in the right direction now. They got some talented players. Like Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker. So be interesting to see how they play in Sacramento.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nelson says good morning.
Good morning, Nelson, dude.
And then Michael Bucket wants to know if I played center in basketball. If I played center in basketball, Michael, I mean, I would get dunked on every play because I'm 5'10.5". But I did growing up, but just now that would be a challenge. So Immaculate Grid. Maybe one of these days we'll do it, honestly. That would be fun.
This one does seem kind of hard, dude.
Oh, you just pulled up a random one?
I mean, I guess this is from today, right? It must be.
Or do they? Oh, maybe they. So you just searched Immaculate Grid and something just came up, you're saying?
Yeah, this is like the website. It is Baseball Reference.
Okay.
And they it looks like they got one. It's for 300 plus career home runs. And I guess played third baseman a minimum one game.
On any team, I feel like it has
so it looks like it's Phillies, Astros, and then Phillies, A's.
So they have to play in the Phillies and the Astros.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is a tough one.
And for the Phillies and the A's, and then there's one for Toronto and Houston, and then Toronto and the A's.
It's so hard, honestly. I feel like it's just easier just to when it's okay, they played on this team.
Literally, yeah.
Then okay.
So hard.
But yeah, we'll take a look at that eventually. But Vedanta, Tony, I know you were tuned in all weekend.
Yes, dude.
Exciting finish. Brian Campbell gets a little assist from a tree to birdie the second playoff hole.
Huge assist.
And win the Vedanta Mexico Open here. First win, 28 starts. Lost his tour card in 17. Tons of Korn Ferry Tour starts, but he gets the job done here. Life-changing, $1.260 million. And a little heartbreak for Aldrich Potgieter. That's what the pronunciation we heard on the highlights here. Who knows if we're wrong? I mean, that's something Tommy would be all over.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But the 20-year-old from South Africa, I think only his 10th career PGA start, did last time out 15th at the Farmers, so really put on a performance. So I don't think there's any reason for him to hang his head.
Right.
But it was an exciting finish. Both of them played great golf, and Potgieter was interesting. The contrasting styles here. Campbell was last in driving distance. Pote Getter was first in driving distance over this tournament, and they ended up in a playoff. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
That is very cool. Pot Getter.
Pot Getter.
Yeah.
Come on, Tony.
It's just funny.
Cal
Well, you
Diaz?
said it right the first time. It was
Pot Getter.
Yeah,
It's not
Pot
that
Getter.
hard.
Yeah. But then
But if we look at what they did over the tournament, and pretty impressive. Both opened with 65s. Pot Getter
yeah.
had a 61 on Friday, then finished out 67-61, and then it was 65, 64, 70 for Campbell, getting the playoff, get the win. So they had great tournaments, and you would think Pot Getter is going to be a staple on the tour. I mean, 20 years old, driving the ball like that, so that's something to look forward to. You had Isaiah Salinda finish a solo third, 19 under par. He had a great tournament. Aaron Rye, who, was around one of the tournament favorites, I think the highest ranked player in the field, finishes fourth, had a chance to win this late, but he'll have to settle for a tie fourth with Ben Griffin. He shot 67, 64, 68, 67. How about Joel Damon, Tony? Barely, retaining his PGA Tour card over in the fall. And he finishes tied for sixth. So a good tournament for Damon.
Good for him.
68, 69, 65, and 65. You had Jaeger tied with him at 17 under. Nikolai Hogard solo 8th, 16 under. Ashke Bahatia 15 under, 9th. So a solid finish for him. And then Rio Histatoon, who led this tournament early on Thursday, and ends up finishing in a three-way tie for 10th at 14 under. Michael Kim, who I believe was your sleeper or pick, 13 under, tied for 13th. So pretty good tournament for him as well. So, scoring was aplenty here. Defending champ Jake Knapp, 11 under, tied for 25th. Patrick Rogers off the heartbreak at Pebble Beach, minus or not at Pebble Beach, but at Torrey Pines, minus 11, tied for 25th as well. So, I think overall, pretty good tournament, despite missing a lot of names, right?
Yeah, I would say great tournament, dude. And
Great weather.
Beautiful course, great weather. The shots, Brian, you're talking about the drone footage of the course overhead, right by the beaches, dude.
Yeah, in Viata.
And then of course, the story of Brian Campbell here is a good one. It's a pretty cool success story here. Obviously, someone who's had his ups and downs. Not only, around the PGA, but just personally as a golfer, whatever. For him to get his first tour win is huge. And I feel like we were talking about it last week, too, about like some of these no-name guys coming out of the woodworks, all of a sudden leading, potentially even winning. And it creates a great, kind of storyline to follow, especially on a weekend for a specific tournament such as this one. Not many tournaments in Mexico. But nonetheless, dude, it was really cool to see him win. Definitely that shot off the tree during the playoff that led to, eventually his, game-winning putt, right? Like,
how many times have we seen that?
Like,
right?
literally never, dude.
Yeah.
And again, if you're Pot Getter, I'm sure you're probably at the time you're like, Jesus, this is such BS. But
20-year-old.
Phenomenal
Love the
tournament.
talent.
Yeah, dude. And it is interesting. Campbell, I mean, he even spoke about his strategy. He says, I know I don't hit it as hard as everyone else, but I know that the fairways are long and hilly, and using that to his advantage because some of his drives, they would roll like another 75 feet.
Oh, yeah,
just
that's
keep
everything.
going, dude, So,
Going.
and of course, he had some phenomenal chips too. His iron work was great. His chips were really good. There were times where he positioned himself, in front of a bunker. He's chipping over within a ball length to the pin, dude. Impressive stuff, dude. It really was. He played out of his mind.
You could say put on a clinic, Tony.
Yes, you could say that, dude.
So, always a good time there in Vallarta. And this week, we'll have some higher ranked golfers in the field and, kind of a warm up, Jesus.
Oh,
before we get to really two premium, PGA Tour events. And really, before we know it, it'll be, time to say, hello, friends, but we have the API, Arnold Palmer Invitational, coming up, and then that's going to be followed by the Players Championship, one of my favorite tournaments. But we do have this week the Cognizant Classic, PGA National, and really one of the nicer courses on the PGA Tour schedule. It's a shame. Usually where it's placed, before these signature events, a lot of guys sit out, and it's a shame because a lot of golfers, live in Palm Beach. So it's a local course for them. And the Bear Trap, I think it's the final 3 holes or something. Like they say, one of the hardest stretches on the PGA Tour. But that being said, while we don't have anybody in the top 16, Tony, we do have Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Billy Horschel, Sungjae Im, Byung-Hung An, Max Greiserman, Denny McCarthy, Brian Harmon, Taylor Pendrith, Lucas Glover, Matthew Pavone, Austin Eckroat, Daniel Berger, Minwoo Lee, Johnny Vegas. So, I think, a decent Chris Kirk, who's a champion here before, Jordan Spieth as well, Thorben Olsen, always a favorite of ours.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a pretty good field, no?
I would say so. Definitely competitive enough. And there's some good golfers. Sepp Straka has a good start to the year. I'm pretty sure Sungjae Im as well. Let's go.
Yeah, Sepp Straka won a tournament. Joel Damon back in.
Did he win Amex?
I think it was, but let's just verify that. The old player page.
The old player page, dude, for Sepp Straka.
Boy, I know I'm a little late on this, but I don't know if it was the Armine stock, but starving right now.
Yeah, I definitely am starving as well.
And it was the Amex. Good memory there, Tony.
There we go. Bang!
Right now.
Oh,
would
gosh.
it be Rico's? What would you be eating?
Right now? That's a great question, dude. I've been craving a good deli sandwich, dude. I probably would go with Gaetano's, to be honest.
And what would be on this sandwich?
What would be on this sandwich? I mean, it's tough, dude. Especially at Gaetano's. I get to go chicken cutlet. I'd probably go for the old Stratford and Maine, dude.
So the only difference is that that's the Kovac, but no Rob, right? Isn't that what the Stratford and Maine is?
Because
it's got the roasted reds, the mozz,
the balsamic, the chicken, lettuce,
and
tomato.
Is there prosciutto?
No, there's no prosciutto.
Interesting. But I think you like prosciutto or no?
Prosciutto's good. Sometimes it's hit or miss, dude. I've had some really bad prosciutto sometimes.
Not from Gaetano's.
No, not from Gaetano's. From places. I've had bad prosciutto from Best Ads, from Village Bagels, even from Italian places. It's like, I'm a little bit more selective with where I get my prosciutto from. So, and especially, for a sandwich like that, too, and everything's all together, I don't really need it. Why take the risk? Let's go no prosciutto sometimes.
Interesting. But I think at Gaetano's, like I said, it's never a risk.
No, it really isn't a risk, dude. But you know what? You said Rico's. I mean, I did, this weekend, first time. I would say, not for nothing. I mean, only been there once, obviously. No Guinness on tap, but they had a Rico's Pilsner.
How was that?
Delicious. It was great, dude. I had quite a few. The wings were good. Definitely Rico's sauce, good.
Not
Wouldn't
great.
get it again. I don't think I would go for the buffalo. Well, it's just because buffalo is buffalo. You can't really beat that, But I definitely would try other things. The cheesesteak egg rolls looked like they were really good. Mike and I sat at the bar, watched the Rangers game, unfortunately, which we'll get
How
to
was
it
the
Saturday
bartender?
game.
The drinks, any attitude, good, fine?
No attitude. Friend of Michael, worked in the business.
Oh, there we go.
Back from local, I think.
And did he have any idea he was going to be there? Or was it
No idea.
Yeah.
We got his name. I believe it was Justin. Very nice guy.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Mets fan.
Oh, terrible. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, he was great, dude. Obviously helping us out. He recommended the Rico sauce.
Yep.
Which is good, dude. I would probably dunk some fries in it, on the side if I had fries.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the pizza was delicious. Exactly. I mean, it is exactly like Colony.
And I forget if I asked you this. What pizzas did you guys get?
We just split one pie.
Okay.
And got the wings. And we got a sausage onion pie.
Sausage onion. Okay.
Yeah. And it was delicious.
No temptation for the hot.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did.
Oh, okay.
Because he hooked us up. He got the bottle of hot oil.
Oh, just on the side. There you go.
Which is the way to go,
yes,
honestly, with the hot oil.
You have to douse it.
Yes, dude.
But did you notice what I was saying about a thinner crust, compared to Colony, or no?
I didn't think I really noticed much of a difference.
Hammered though?
No, I wasn't hammered. It's a couple beers, Brian. But I will say, I mean, they definitely use the same sausage. That's for sure. It was exactly the same sausage. The sauce tasted very similar as well. The whole thing tasted exactly like Colony, in my opinion. Which, I mean, it's fine. That's what they're doing. I mean, they put out a good product. The area, the restaurant itself, was nice, dude. It was pretty packed. We were on the bar side. So they had bars and two top tables and some booths and whatnot. So it was all packed. Good service, quick, delicious, clean. You know, it's kind of what you would expect from like a colony, to be honest. So, and I would try the other things, like other appetizers. I think they had, you know, definitely had more toppings.
I didn't know they had the cheesesteak egg rolls. I haven't been there in a while, but cheesesteak egg rolls are like one of my favorite appetizers.
They also have like a bunch of different salads.
But then you get the salad on the pizza, which I've done, like the buffalo chicken, pretty good.
Yeah, buffalo chicken, gorgonzola salad, obviously the Caesar salad. So, I mean, you know, seems like they're doing a good job over there, man.
But would you say, like, for you, I mean, could you differentiate with Colony, like, at all, like, in terms of the actual pizza, or do you feel like it's
no? I think it's exactly the same. I would have to literally, I mean, I haven't had Colony in a while, so I would have to do some type of side-by-side. Like that, I think it's the only way you would really tell if it's a side-by-side comparison, dude.
Blind taste test.
If it's blind, you may not even know.
Yeah.
You know, you may not know the
Just
difference,
like you
dude.
with the Staten Island pizzas.
I would know what's different, dude.
Oh man, but yeah, I guess I'll have to give them another try. It's been a little bit.
Do they have one near Stanford or nah?
Yeah, they have two in Stanford.
Rico's?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah, they built a newer one a couple years ago, and then they have like this original location. Jeez, I don't know if it's Hope Street, but the newer one, you know, big bar. I've been there a couple times. I mean, solid place to watch a game.
Oh my god, dude, they have a lot of locations.
Yeah, there's one in Norwalk,
1, 2,
Westport.
3, 4, 5,
Trying to
6,
think of
7,
where else,
8,
and they might have
9,
opened
10,
one
11,
down
12.
south.
They have 12, it looks like, throughout Connecticut, New York, Florida, North Carolina, and Vermont.
Oh, in North Carolina, Vermont.
Damn,
dude.
dude.
So they're growing. Yeah, both Colony and Rico's, you know, trying to really like expand, you know, to be kind of a nationwide place. And I know,
pretty
I know
wild.
there's like, this isn't Rico's, but there's a Colony in Tampa now too.
No shit,
Which
dude.
is kind of cool. Josh B says, I would love to do a blind taste test, LOL.
Yeah, because he fucking knows, dude.
I don't know if he knows.
He
honestly.
knows, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been kind of talking some smack about Staten Island, Tony. Like
This
low
is-
key,
what is
like in
talking
the
smack about
Discord.
Staten
He's like,
Island?
oh yeah, Tony is delusional. Nah, I'm just kidding, Tony. I just wanted to get.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But he definitely vouches for his Jersey pies, honestly.
No, yeah, obviously he does. He does.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I could go for a pie right now.
Definitely.
But you'd
does.
rather have the sandwich still.
Nah. I guess not, really, at this
Yeah?
point. I guess not.
What would be the pie?
Honestly, I would go back to Rico's. I'd
And
get
get
a
the
full pie
sausage.
myself.
And I forget, is it the crumbled sausage, or you have the option of doing like the sliced versus the crumbled?
Oh, I don't know. It is the crumble, though.
It was
the
crumble.
same one
and,
as
and
Colony.
you like crumble
Yeah,
over
yeah.
sliced. Yeah.
Well, I don't like anyone better or not. I
You
don't
think this is all
dude.
good quality sausage,
Yeah,
same deal.
sausage is
Yeah.
sausage. I
Yeah.
love sausage.
But anyhow, if we could go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it, Skip. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So spring training
Bang.
underway, Tony. And the Yankees did win their home opener back on Friday, which seems like eons ago.
It really does, dude.
4-0. So I watched the entirety of that one, and it was nice to see newly minted Yankees, Paul Goldschmidt and Cody Bellinger. Goldschmidt just missing a home run, Bellinger with a single up the middle. So it was good to see that. Marcus Stroman got out of Dodge, scoreless inning. So good to get the shutout win in the opener. And it made me think the win with the songs, and I don't know if you saw this, but, for the last, I don't even know how many years, but it's always been the tradition after the game's over, home game, to play New York.
Mm-hmm.
But they had been playing it after losses, which had, really, caused a lot of, dissatisfaction amongst Yankee fans. So they did this yesterday because they lost, I think, 4-0 to Detroit. That they're going to do a rotation of songs, and they started out with That's Life by Sinatra, which I love because it's like New York, New York, you play it after a win, good feel. You can't play it after a loss. That's embarrassing. So I'm glad that they got that right. So a couple big changes, really, if you think about that, and then the beer policy.
Yeah, very interesting. Interesting, changes and things to, I guess, the Yankees are focusing on. And it is, I mean, obviously, I'm sure, I would imagine that most of the Yankee fan base kind of has your same sentiment in terms of hearing the song after a loss.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny, dude. It's almost like if the Rangers played their goal song for when the other team scored,
Right.
So, I can see what the change is. In terms of like mixing up, I don't know. I mean, I guess like a mix up of songs is fine. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'd say overall good move, I suppose. It's better than the beard policy, I think.
You think you're going against tradition with the beard policy?
A little bit. Although I will say I heard on Rick and Dave this morning, Jabba Chamberlain interview.
And he said good move.
He said that players in the past have told me, like, I don't want to go, like, I'm not,
I'm not shaving my beard.
Yeah, they're like, hey, like, Jabba, like, if I have a 5 o'clock shadow, like, is that fine? Like, what can I ever, yeah. And he said that it deterred players from going. Which is pretty wild.
Yeah, so obviously you don't want that. That's the key. I mean, tradition is tradition, but obviously you want to get the best players playing for the Yankees. That's for sure.
Good old Jabba.
And I did just see this, and I know he's been, shut down for baseball activities, but Giancarlo Stanton headed to New York this morning to see Yankees team physician Chris Ahmad.
Wow, good for him, dude.
And then it says Stanton, who hasn't swung a bat in nearly a month due to tennis elbow in both arms, is scheduled to meet, later this morning. The visit will likely include new testing, a review of Stanton's treatment options. Surgery will be the last line of defense, but has so far not been seriously considered. So, I mean, hopefully they just come up with some treatment options. It's just annoying that this keeps lingering on. You just would love to have a timetable. But the way I'm looking at it, and I think a lot of, fellow Yankee fans are looking at it, is it seems like, you're going to be out a couple months without Stanton. That's what it feels like. But it would like you would like to just get some type of direction, Tony, on this,
Yeah, I guess that's cool. Yeah, no, direction would be good, I suppose. I'm just looking up I'm looking up Chris Ahmad, dude.
And he's the one that A-Rod says that he purposely damages him.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember. Yeah, this guy seems like kind of a chief, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. He's from the Bay Shore, dude. Which I'm pretty sure is on Long Island. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait, just looking at his picture, he looks like a chief. You're saying?
He does, yeah.
Continue that. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
it's
yeah.
kind of funny.
So Bay Shore, Long Island, probably very wealthy. Looks like he went to Columbia, dude.
God, this guy is a fucking chief,
it's over, dude. This guy has got to be. And not to mention, we've been kind of bashing a little bit of the medical staff here for the Yankees, This guy seems like could be a big reason why, dude.
Yeah, 2013, Yankees, Alex Rodriguez filed a medical malpractice lawsuit against Ahmad, which he subsequently dropped. And I just wanted to see here. So the biography.
He cheated on his wife.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, dude.
He's been the head physician since 09. So
since 09.
Yeah,
interesting.
So he gets off on a good foot.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Might be a time for a change there.
Yeah, grew up Long Island, passion for playing soccer, dude.
But just in terms of over the weekend, the results, like I said, they win the opener on Friday 4-0 against the Rays. They did make a valiant comeback effort on Saturday. I watched actually the entirety of this game as well. They ended up losing 6-4 to the Blue Jays in Dunedin, Tony. You probably never hear that name again. And this was a game that Rodon started. Unfortunately, didn't have his best stuff. 2 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. But the big blow was Spencer Jones going opposite field in the 6th inning, 2-run homer. Yankees ended up tying the game at 4 before ultimately, losing 6-4. But it was nice to see Spencer Jones, hit a home run, and it looks like he's changed his stance, a little more upright, kind of just kind of extending out. It seemed like he's more kind of on a slant. He was more vertical last year, and it looks like he's added some muscles. So that's all good signs. Because he's a very important future part of this organization. So that was exciting to see, and George Lombard played in this game and had a hit as well. But that was really the highlights of that game. Nobody really of consequence pitched, after Rodon. And then yesterday, 5 hits, no runs, and, pitching wise, Fernando Cruz, who they acquired from Cincinnati, did have 2 strikeouts, but gave up 3 runs in an inning. And then actually there's been a lot of hype about And I know you're gonna crack up when I say this, but Cam Schittler, Tony. Yeah, I guess that's how you say it. But anyway,
Schittler.
He did pitch well. The 24-year-old struck out 2 over 2 innings. And then, I mean, Jazz had a single. Bellinger had a single. And then that was really it in terms of notable players. Peraza got the start, but didn't do anything with his at-bats. But, spring training, but good to just be out there. Like I said, I'm so excited for opening day. It'll be here before we know it. And they will be back in action this afternoon, but somewhat pending. Initially, this game was supposed to be a 1:00 game at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. But due to some rain in the area, they've moved it back to 4:05. But I was looking at my weather app, and it might rain till 9 o'clock. So just looking at that, you would think this game gets rained out, unfortunately. But if we do give it a go, you could watch it on the Gotham Sports app. But it would be Carlos Carrasco versus Tanner Houck. And the lineup that would be out there for the Yankees would be Ben Rice, Oswaldo Cabrera, Dom Smith, Pablo Reyes, Spencer Jones, Everson Pereira, TJ Rumfield, Roderick Arias, and Mungaya at right field. Ismael Mungaya. So, like I said, I don't know if we'll get this in, but it would be nice, if we're able to. Alex Bregman did hit a home run at JetBlue Park the other day. He'd be in the lineup if this game gets played, as well as Vaughn Grisham, Tristan Cassis, and that's really their lineup. So we'll have to see. But hoping for good news on Stanton. Excited about Spencer Jones. Pending. And just interested to see, the storylines as we move along. And kind of crazy. 1 week from Thursday, I'll be at George M. Steinbrenner Field. So
That's
excited
fucking
for that.
sick, dude.
Yeah. So definitely pumped. So that's really it. With the Yankees, I know, the big Soto home run over the weekend. Kev Dew.
Why I say it like that?
Because Kev Dew was kind of embarrassing himself actually on the
really?
Discord. Yeah, everyone was kind of calling him out. So I know, and then I saw stuff in the chat. The Mets fans riled.
Now, when you're in this Discord chat, though, how many Met fans are really in there?
So the Discord itself, there's usually only a couple people, but the TCA chat has a ton of Mets fans in it. And I used to engage. Yeah, really, if you think about Discord chat, mainly it's Hot Take Johnny and Kev Dew that are in the chat, actually. But then there's a ton of other people in the Discord, but in the chat, there's a ton of people. But yeah, obviously I know, of course, you get a new addition, he hits a home run, you're going to be excited. I think the way he was talking, though, I don't know. I think that's what we were just getting a little tight. It's okay, nice to see it, but it's it's just the first game of spring training. But like I said, I understand why you're excited to see it. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be that big of a deal that it was making it. That's all. But other than that, any takeaways, Mets over the weekend? I didn't really see too much other than that.
Yeah, dude. I think there were some good takeaways beyond the Soto home run. Obviously, Brett Beatty, who's someone that I'm definitely going to be watching closely as he is trying to make his way on an opening day roster here, did look really good at third base. A couple good hits. A couple great plays defensively. The hot corner. I think he's coming into this season with some ferocity, as well as a new car. Yes, dude.
Wait, where's he gonna play?
He's going out for third base.
So Vientos is. Wait, I don't understand this though. So Vientos is DHing?
It would be either. Yeah, they would probably timeshare third base.
Because how was Vientos okay playing third base?
Yeah, he was very good.
Okay, but Beatty's supposed to be better or kind of similar?
I would say that Beatty was supposed to be better than Vientos.
Okay.
But last year, not that Vientos is bad by any means, but it was more so because Beatty was making mistakes as why Vientos got an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So
your mother says we sound low, very low.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably my mother.
Should I do a test run on my end just in case?
You can do it on yours. I did it on mine right here.
Should I do a test run on mine? You can do it on yours. To me that sounds normal, no?
No, it does sound normal. I think maybe my mom.
The volume's not up
on
on
the
her
phone. Yeah, probably.
Hey,
listen, like that. It happens, dude.
But continue. Beatty, Vientos.
Beatty, Vientos. We'll see what that kind of turns out. I think at one point. I don't know. I know Jesse Winker's the DH right now, but I don't have a ton of confidence in him. And not for nothing, Marte is bound to go down at some point. And I don't know. I mean, even though Siri, I think, had a couple good at-bats, too, this weekend, I mean, he's supposed to be a utility guy. I almost would rather see a Vientos out in the outfield, to kind of,
Rather than Marte.
Well, if Marte's hurt, I'm
breaking
saying.
news.
Yeah.
And you're not going to like it, I'm sorry. But it's true. Supposedly. I'll double-check it. Sean Manaea has been diagnosed with a strained right oblique.
Stop it, really?
Per Underdog MLB. I'm going to vet it, though. I could have gotten catfished. I don't know. But I just saw that.
Go to Twitter maybe real quick.
Man AEA. Yep, Mike Puma has an oblique injury. He's shut down for a couple of weeks. He will likely start the season on the injured list.
That fucking sucks, dude.
So that bombshell coming out of Port St. Lucie, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So 2 pitchers down now. So, I mean, with that being said, Tony, do you think Quintana's a lock at this point?
I guess so. I mean, he's going to have to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Manaea is supposed to be your 2 starter.
Yeah.
So now you're down 2 starters.
Right.
And all of this, by the way, try to maintain a 6-man rotation to try to help Kadai be as healthy and as optimal as possible for the MLB, which isn't great, dude. It really sucks, to be honest. Who was the confirmation report you saw?
Mike Puma.
Mike Puma.
Yeah. And Anthony DiComo, who's a big Mets guy. Right?
Okay, yep. Well, then there you go, dude. So, I mean, that really sucks, to be honest, dude. I mean, that's going to be a huge blow to the rotation, which already isn't really that great. Again, how much confidence do I really have in the rotation? Not a ton. I guess kind of being off of that, though, I mean, Clay Holmes did look really good. 3 innings he threw. I think he had 3 strikeouts, 3 groundouts. In any case, dude, give up any hits or anything like that. No hits, no walks. And I guess working on this new changeup, I suppose, this offseason, which I guess he's adding to his pitch selection for this year, and it was getting some strikeouts. So
no, I did see that, and that was another thing Kev was, and I think Hot Take Johnny were getting excited about. But I will say, I know it doesn't seem like I'm really fair with this stuff.
It's not.
But I've always thought he has really good stuff. It's just about harnessing it. But I mean, obviously, first spring training outing. I mean, you wouldn't have wanted any more.
Exactly.
What I mean? So I mean, you're hoping that can translate to something.
Yeah, you are hoping for that. So I mean, I think in terms of notable guys, again, I think they look pretty good. There was a couple other bullpen guys that seemed kind of good. So I think there's some hope there.
Anybody of note?
I'm trying to remember this guy's name, dude.
So you were how many of these games did you actually watch, or this is all highlight stuff?
Friday was probably mostly highlights. Oh, sorry, Saturday was probably mostly highlights. Sunday actually was watching both games. I had them both on while I was cleaning the house.
Oh, it's a split squad.
They had split squad on yesterday, which is a little annoying trying to keep track of. Like, I'm like, oh, who do I want to see? Whatever. But it's still cool because you got 2 games going on. I have to pull up the game, I guess, to get this guy's name, perhaps. Danny Young did not look good. I know he was a bullpen arm. Was not very happy about, to be honest. But in any case, dude, I think there's still some bright spots. Let's see. I was watching, I believe it was during the Marlins game because they also played the Nationals yesterday. Stanovich, I think. I want to say no, sorry, not Stanovich.
Stanek?
No, that's Stanek because it sounded Craddock. Maybe it was Craddock.
Craddock.
I remember it was like it sounded like Stanek, and I was like, oh, what? Max Craddock, 27 years old, I think, out of Scranton. I think had some injury issue last season. Was supposed to be kind of like making his way to the majors. Had an injury, whatever. But looks pretty good, dude. So again, maybe there's, as we do get these looks at these guys in spring training, maybe. There's some guys that have been developed that obviously Stearns or whoever or Mendoza are keeping an eye on and kind of have somewhat of a plan. So I think, there's some hope there. Again, the Manaea thing really puts a, wrench in the gears here. But in any case, I was pretty stoked with, some of the spring training guys here so far. Good energy.
And it looks like no Met lineup out, but they are playing the Cards and facing actually former Met great Steven Matz. And going with Blade Tidewell. Isn't he one of the pitching prospects?
He's one of the pitching prospects. Dude.
Struggled last year, but high expectations type of thing?
Yeah, definitely still highly touted, so let's go, baby.
I kind of forgot Matz was even still in the league, to be honest.
Honestly, me too, dude. I went to
Guess
his debut.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he hit 2 home runs.
Did he really hit 2?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I think he's like one of the only pitchers to do that.
But boy, Matt's really has been a disappointment. You know, I feel like there was so many high expectations, and he had that one good year, and then other than that, I mean, I guess maybe 2. I don't know.
I know. Listen, he looked great bursting on the scene with the Mets. Again, he looked like he was going to be a significant, like a great, like a third guy in the rotation, especially back then. You still had the Grom. And I think even his first year, the Syndergaard was probably still in the Mets, I want to say.
Yeah, 2016.
Right? Yeah, 2016. I think he had like some shoulder, he had a couple of injury bugs a little bit. And then I guess the Mets at the time, the Wilpons probably just didn't want to pay him, just like Zach Wheeler, and then let him leave. But it probably worked out for the best because he doesn't really amount to much.
Yeah.
Since leaving the Mets.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. And I guess their game I think they're playing in Jupiter today.
I think they are in Jupiter.
Jupiter. I'm just curious if it's like a whole Florida
Roger
thing or
Dean.
what. Let's see here. So
Jupiter,
Florida, weather-wise. Wow.
71.
They're probably going to get rained out as well.
Wait, really?
Dude, 100% rain at 11 a.m. And then you have 95, 60, 70, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 70, 65 till 12 a.m.
That kind of sucks, dude. I kind of was looking forward to see Blade.
And then rain tomorrow. Looks like just overnight, though. So the rest of the week will be clear. So
whatever, I guess.
But yeah, rain's just so annoying.
Yeah, especially it is right now because it's like spring training. They're not necessarily making these games up,
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I don't know. It does kind of suck a little bit. What do you think about Dominguez over the weekend?
Oh, you're talking about Lost in the Sun?
Lost in the Sun. I think there was maybe even like a cutoff throw too, or
yeah, I think you know what I mean. But they were
kinks.
talking about it. This is spring training. Yeah, exactly. You work out the kinks. And yeah, I think as the spring goes, he will be fine. What were you gonna say?
No, I think so too. I was just interested in getting your take about it.
And one thing that I was kind of bothering me, and I saw it from this person. She tweets a lot, and I think she has a lot of followers.
Oh, does she?
She's a big Yankee fan. Her name's like Gina Muscato or something.
Sounds like a Yankee fan.
And she was like really going in on Judge and just kind of like about playoff performance, and then just said something about, you really shouldn't be here if like the facial hair thing is like a problem for you.
Yeah.
And she made it seem like, he's like really calling out Devin Williams. But she was saying like, he's got a lot to prove and his credibility is on the line or whatever. And then just hearing other people talking about, like, I don't know, just like, I think there's just so much doubt. And it really, I know, listen, I mean, I'm coming from a vantage point of, he's, my favorite player of all time. I've always said that. But, I just think he's just catching too much heat, Tony. And I understand the playoff performances, haven't been good. While the power has been almost, on par with what you would expect. The average, I think, is around 200. So you understand there's been some struggles. But my whole thing is why I just feel like I can't, like, just attack him the way it feels like other Yankee fans are, is because even though it hasn't been what we've wanted, but as far as we've gone every year, like you're telling me the last 7 years that if we didn't have Aaron Judge, I mean, how many times would we have not even made the playoffs, Tony? So I just feel like I understand you need him to hit in the postseason, but I just think it's a disgrace and a lack of appreciation to really give him a tough time. He needs to do better, but he shouldn't be catching that much heat. I mean, do you see anything, any truth to that yourself, or what do you think?
Yeah, truth to what you said.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, Aaron Judge, has been the one constant, throughout since he's been with the Yankees.
Right.
I mean, he's been that consistent player. He's been that consistent leader. Not just because of the size, but just because of what he does out on the field on the diamond, and off the field, even with this team. It does seem like that he does jive well with the clubhouse and that everyone likes him, like what's not to like, I suppose. That being said, I mean, I guess I can understand her, Gina Muscati's.
Yes. Muscato. Sipping on Moscato.
I can't.
No hands? No, you're not a Wale guy.
No.
Really?
Can't
I mean,
do
when
it.
do I I never make a
I know.
music reference,
I
right?
know.
And then you're just leaving me out to dry there.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't.
Dude, what was wrong with the song?
Want me to fake it, dude? You want me
Hey,
to
you
fake
never
it?
I just feel like you were at a shoe bar, popped one time, and that song was going on, and then Jay was getting riled. I know that happened one time. No way it didn't happen.
Jay was probably getting riled, definitely. Yeah. But in any case, not for nothing, it has been lackluster in the playoffs.
Yes, it has.
So I could see maybe where Yankee fans are coming at him for that. Because it wasn't, it's not just, it wasn't like just him lackluster in the playoffs.
Right.
It was a lot of the team that was lackluster in the playoffs. But obviously, you look to your captain, you look to that guy who was mashing in the regular season to be that anchor in the postseason, So, obviously that is being left desired. And I think coming from Yankee fans, I know every year is World Series or bust, but coming off of a year where you lost in the World Series, like it is for a lot of people, very much so, World Series or bust. So I think, I think putting pressure on the team isn't necessarily unfair. But everyone's got to pick up their part here at this point.
Oh, yeah, everyone's got to pick up their part, but I just feel like they're making it seem like it diminishes the type of player that he is. And you want to say, well, in terms of his all-time standing, he has to produce in the postseason, so that takes it down a notch. I understand that, but at the same time, it doesn't take away from the fact that he's our most important player, and we wouldn't be in a World Series, a championship series, even in the playoffs maybe, if he wasn't on our team. And I think that's what's getting lost in translation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. It is interesting, though, because I feel like it is unfortunate. I think it's just the way that people, view it, you can have a pitcher or a player in general that isn't great in the regular season, but then absolutely dominates the postseason, wins those World Series for you, isn't winning you necessarily regular season games, but is looked at as a god because he has those World Series, and the opposite it isn't so. It's the opposite, for the opposite. At that point, nobody really cares what you did in the regular season. It is what you did in the postseason. I guess you can say, look at a Tim Lincecum or Madison Bumgarner.
Right.
Those are guys who weren't great in the regular season, but dominated in the postseason. Went on those runs when the team needed them most, and people remember them as being those dominant pitchers, in the big spots. So, I think that unfortunately that's just the way people view it, I suppose. But we'll see.
And I'm not gonna lie, yes, he needs to have a big postseason, but I don't know. You tell me, am I looking at this the wrong way? Just because there has been a decent sample size here, but I look at it as it's irresponsible to think that come this postseason that he's going to continue to struggle and not step up just because of the player that I know he is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. I think, eventually the hammer, or in this case, maybe the gavel will drop, right? But that being said, if it's 3 more years of not good postseason numbers, there has to be something to answer for that, But like you, Brian, I don't really anticipate it, I think especially with the amount of momentum the Yankees could have with this lineup going into said postseason, I think it's going to be definitely a different feel.
Most important non-Judge player in the lineup this year.
Most important non-Judge player
in the starting lineup.
In the starting lineup. I could just say Stanton, but
is he even going to play? Or is Dr. Ahmad going to have him on the sideline?
Let's assume he's not. I'm gonna say Volpe, to be honest.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go with Anthony Volpe.
And it's basically what you're saying is that if we're gonna see playoff Volpe from last year.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I think, especially I feel like he's still, I'm sure, regarded as one of the younger players here, the kid sort of deal. And I think his storyline is tremendous in terms of growing up a Yankee fan in the area. What's up? But it does seem like when you looked when he was playing well, I think it really electrified the dugout and the rest of the clubhouse. And I think in a year like this, that's what you need. You need that positivity. You need that great high energy player. And I think he brings that. On the bags, consistent bat, hometown hero. So give me Volpe. What about you? What do you think?
Dominguez.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think he has an opportunity this year, and we were talking about this in Discord. Really the last couple of weeks. But, that he could be a guy that hits 270, 275, steals 20 bases, hits 20 home runs. I mean, that's going to be huge to have that in the lineup, especially the fact that he could lead off. I like that speed at the top, the threat of the leadoff homer. So obviously there's a lot of important guys, but I just think him really being the player that we expect, does wonders for this lineup.
Yeah, definitely, dude. And again, I mean, he would be someone who would be like an addition, So yeah, no, that's good.
Most important non-Soto Lindor player for the Mets this year.
Non-Soto Lindor.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go Alonso at that point, right?
Interesting. Okay. I thought you were gonna go like Vientos or Alvarez.
I mean, you could, but I think a lot more rides on like the career of Alonso, and his future, his very upcoming future, like the following season, rides a lot on how Alonso does this year. And not for nothing, I think there's expectations are going to be super high. And, if Lindor and Soto are doing what they're supposed to be doing, if Alonso is playing at the top of his game, I mean, it's going to be a really hard lineup to navigate. So, I mean, I think it has to be Alonso.
I think Michael Butka might be hitting the bottle.
Yeah, right?
Did you see that?
This last comment?
Yeah.
Barnes, what would happen if you dressed up as the Beast for Beauty and the Beast, and I, Tony, dresses up as Gaston?
You think it's one of those things like right now he's going to comment and go, I just like fucking with y'all.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's like, Michael.
I mean, I hope his next comment isn't like he wants to dress up as Bell.
Yeah, that would be a little concerning.
That would be a little concerning, dude.
So we'll have to check in with him after the show, make sure he's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously exciting time of the year, baseball, spring training. Let's
it's great,
go. Yeah, so hopefully maybe we get to play today. Probably not because
it kind of sucks.
But we'll get back out there tomorrow. But if we could go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Speed, here he comes! McDavid shoots! Top shelf! He scores! Captain with the overtime winner! That's the middle quick! It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping, rink wide! Made the full split save! Are you kidding me? Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights!
All right. So the tale of two games for the New York Rangers this weekend. I guess we have to start with the bad before we get to the good, Tony. Is it just me, or did the 8-2 embarrassment in Buffalo kind of almost take the joy out of the win yesterday?
It did a little bit, dude. And we'll even get to the win, by the way, yesterday, but because it didn't really feel like much of a win.
Right.
In any case, dude, yeah, this is like fucking bullshit, honestly, was Saturday. Again, Mike and I, the game is on 5 o'clock in Rico's.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to have the good time.
Did you have to ask him to switch it on, or was there?
I did. I had to ask him to switch it on.
Anybody else watching?
No, I don't think so, dude.
Yeah, everyone's tight. Basically.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because like the bar was packed, and like there was other game because it was like Saturday in America, whatever.
Yeah.
Hockey in America Day. So they had like the games were on since noon. Great matchups. You saw the Capitals just pounce on the Penguins, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, so we're watching the game, dude, and I mean, like real quick, it's fucking 5-0.
And it's like what,
like before the pizza was served.
And I actually saw the whole game.
Yeah.
We were on Discord, and I'm expecting remember we were talking about it on Friday. I was like, I think we're gonna have to claw it out, but I think we'll win this and that. And I mean, just to go goal after goal, Igor pulled into one of the worst teams in the league. You lose the season series. I mean, what do you think happened? I mean, was it just again like we've seen so many times this year, just asleep at the wheel?
Literally, it looked like the Rangers were just not ready to play hockey, dude, at all. I don't know, like, what. I really don't know what the mentality was here, but even Igor included. I mean, I know, the defense doesn't help him out a ton in front of him, but when you're getting beat, like, below the glove or just below your blocker or something like that, like he was against the Sabres, I mean, those are those are things you should be saving. You know, it's not like it's going top shelf in the corner and you're just not able to reach for it quick enough. Like if you can't protect this right away, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what was going on with him, and obviously being pulled. I mean, you have to do that. I mean, as a coach, you don't even have. What are you gonna do? Like you gave up 5 goals on 16 shot attempts. You know, you got to get him out of there. Quick did a good job in holding it down, at least for the second period, I guess, and some of the third maybe. But I mean, you know, you're looking at the Rangers specifically, and I mean, they're just not playing great defense. Like it's just the same nonsense. They're losing little battles along the boards. They're losing the puck. They're losing possession. They're having stupid turnovers. They're not protecting the middle of the ice in front of Igor, you know? And not for nothing, like I know the Sabres are a struggling team here. I mean, the Sabres are struggling. Like they sucked this year, actually. They've been very underwhelming as a team that's trying to get better with a lot of youthful talent. But clearly, that first period gave them, like the first 10 minutes gave them all the confidence in the world. And when you give young kids with talent confidence, they become very volatile, okay? And that's exactly what happened as they put an 8 spot up on the Rangers. And at that point, you know, you're down 5-0 after the first. I don't care how much more time is left, to be honest. They weren't coming back. They weren't going to win that. Like, they were not winning, okay? I mean, you gave up too much too early. And, I mean, not for nothing, dude. What do we see Kreider getting a power play goal in garbage time already? You know, like 6 minutes in the second period. Mika scores, you know, like 5 minutes after that. So, oh, great. Like, now people want to start playing and scoring when this shit is gone already, you know? And not to mention, like, that's, like, Kreider's 17th of the year, which is also underwhelming. Mika's 12th of the year, underwhelming. But it's like, you know, we tell you all the time, dude. A lot of time these guys score. Specifically, these two players are scoring in games where we're either down 4 or up 4, you know? Like, in just time where it doesn't necessarily matter. I know Mika maybe has had some better, but it doesn't really matter, dude. It's just like most of the time these guys play better when, like, there's nothing on the line, okay? And it was just an absolute shit show, dude. I mean, you can go over the team stats, the shots on goal, okay? The lack of shots on goal, obviously, for the Rangers. I mean, 1 for 4 in the power play. You have to do better than that, dude. Like, you just do. I mean, I understand it's not terrible, but in moments like this, against a team like the Sabres, where you need goals, you should be going 3 for 4. You know, like, figure out a way with the talent on that squad to score, to get one past Luukkonen. You know, it was brutal, dude. And we left Rico's for the third period, so we've watched the first 2.
Yeah, and you know, we were all disgusted, you know, in the Discord, and actually, Jules, I don't know if you remember her.
Of course,
yeah. So she's a big Ranger fan, and she was just disgusted, and everyone was kind of agreeing. I mean, it wasn't necessarily, I know you always think I'm kidding with this, you know, about like the McDavid thing, that it's like, again, you know, that's what the team needs, just an intense player leading, and that we don't have that, and that it's just a shame that, you know, that there was the inaction, you know, after last season, you know, and that was a theme of the Discord, you know, seeing a game like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man. I still, listen, I don't hate Connor McDavid, okay?
No, but not even just McDavid, though. I'm just talking about Brady Tkachuk.
Right.
Not even Tkachuk.
Well,
like, I'm saying that you don't think that we just need that guy. It doesn't not them specifically, but just that type of player.
I mean, listen, adding them definitely would help. I mean, any of those talented players, you're adding more talent to a squad that doesn't have that talent is great. But I will say, it's like, you know, that sentiment of we need that guy, not for nothing, like, since JT Miller has been on the Rangers, he has been that guy, okay? I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's been rarely games since he's been on the Rangers where he hasn't had a point, okay? Where he's not laying a heavy hit that leads to a goal, okay? Or leads to extra time of possession, all right? He's been that dog, all right? And it's, interview him. Yeah, I really don't care about, like, whatever. Like, I just want to, like, who I'm playing for. I'm getting there. I'm playing every shift as hard as I possibly can, giving my team the most opportunity. Like, he has that mentality, okay? We know about even the chemistry he has between him and Trocheck. Obviously, the history he has with the Rangers organization. Like, he has been that guy. Obviously, he's not as good as McDavid, maybe not as highly touted as a Tkachuk brother, but you cannot ask any of those players any more than what he's done for the Rangers in the time he's been here, okay? The amount of goals he's had, the great shifts he's had, he's been that dog player, and they're still not winning games. They still look like shit.
But you don't think, though, that he, like, if we're talking about actually, like, having a good shot to win a title, that he's more of a second option? Like, not, like, leading the way? Like, you think he's good enough to lead the way?
No, I mean, he will need someone who, no, he is, I would say, a second option, sure. He isn't a guy that can completely take control of a game like, Ovechkin, a Crosby, or McDavid. But I'm saying, like, right now, he has been that guy. Like, up until this moment, he has been that guy for the Rangers. Okay, he's been that I can turn the tide of the game because he's been having those strong shifts. Will that last for the whole year, going to the playoffs? Probably not. I mean, we haven't seen that from Miller really ever. But I'm just saying, like, right now, he's been as if McDavid has been on the team, but he's just not, like, they're still losing games.
But also, though, isn't that more of an indictment on the other guys on the team?
No, I do. That's what I'm kind of alluding to. I think that there needs to be a significant change on the defensive end, okay? And I think certainly, like, not for nothing, like, some of these players get their heads out of their asses, like Panarin, like, he's been really pissing me off, dude. Even watching him against Pittsburgh or even on Saturday, it's just like, he's trying to do almost too much now, and he also is someone who doesn't really like to get physical, it seems, he needs to fucking get out of his head out of his ass. And I think maybe even some type of like strategy on the ice needs to change, to be honest, because things aren't working defensively. Like, things are not working defensively, okay? Whatever your strategy is, it's not really, like, helping the team, dude. Or it's just something that the players don't understand or can't execute, all right? Like, something needs to change. But I think, like, bring in a single, like, again, like, I don't think that's the answer. I don't think the answer is bringing a dog, And again, for what I just stated, is why.
It's part of the answer, though. But you're just saying that there needs to be just a whole retoolment, and it's a shame too, because I was thinking about this, and I know hindsight's 2020, but I really did have this thought at the time when Panarin had that 50-goal season, like, just his value couldn't have been higher,
right?
Because that was what, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Like, and it's just like now, like, I mean, anybody that we have. I mean, are we getting any type of value? Obviously, we're not trading JT, but any other player. Like, is there anybody that you think actually gives us a return that we would be happy with at this point?
Happy with? Probably not, I guess.
So that's kind of tough, right?
Again, maybe a younger guy. No one on the current roster, Yeah, no way, dude. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I mean, these bigger names, I mean, you're probably not getting rid of Vinny T. If you wanted to try Mika or Panarin, again, their value is lower. Same thing with Kreider. And even if you go lower down the chain, I mean, even third-line guys, I mean, no one's going to want someone like Rempe, someone who can't seem to get out of the penalty box, suspensions, even though he's been getting better. I think that fourth line definitely is missing Edstrom. That's for sure. That Edstrom injury really sucks.
Artie was last year with the 49 goals. Okay.
That was last season?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because everyone was saying, oh, well, he doesn't do anything in the playoffs, so let's trade him. And that was after he had the big year.
I mean, it's just like, at this point, it's like these guys have to just perform or leave. Because we know, you mentioned last year 49 goals. I mean, that's like, how are you following up a season like
where
that?
You're -9, Tony, on the ice?
I mean, that's absolutely just like ridiculous, Brian.
Yeah.
And even someone like Kreider,
9.
It's just like you need to follow up. You need to be better. You just all of you need to be better, and we've seen what you can do. Like, we've seen what you got, how good you guys could be, how good this roster, how many games you guys could win, how dominant you could be down the stretch of a long, hard season. And right now you're showing absolutely no grit. You are on the outside, like, looking in at this point. And that looking in is fading away. I know obviously yesterday, big win, whatever, the points important.
Two back of a playoff spot, despite being a dumpster fire, is kind of crazy.
It really is kind of crazy.
Still have no confidence, though. Right?
I mean, how could you?
Yeah.
I don't want to say no confidence. You never say never, dude. But the confidence is waning, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, dude. And that Saturday game was just so freaking gut-wrenching against a Buffalo team that, talk about confidence waning. I mean, I think they're still like 5 games under 500, probably.
Yeah.
Like they're not good. They're a team that's been so underwhelming all year long, dude. And you went there and you got absolutely spanked. Okay, dude.
And then it's like, okay, you win yesterday, but talking about underwhelming all year long. I
Holy
mean, that's what
shit,
the Pittsburgh
dude.
Penguins have been, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I mean, and the win yesterday, 5-3 Rangers. Obviously, I believe JT. I'm pretty sure
Two
had a
goals.
goal, 2 goals.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
had
did
empty
have 2
netter
goals.
late.
Adam Fox with a nice goal and assist as well. His goal was pretty sweet. Will Cooley's goal was awesome as well. We even saw Jimmy Vesey have a great goal. And now, did you watch this game?
No,
No?
because I was at the game.
Oh,
and
that's right. I
out
totally
to
forgot,
dinner
dude.
and
Did
shit,
they do live look-ins at the Garden?
No,
Really?
no. But the game didn't even start because the game was at 12, and then we were at Carmine's. You know what I mean? And then we went to the bar.
by the
after.
time-
it was
okay.
on like a TV, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you're
like,
not dialed in.
no,
No, the wings, dude.
Yeah.
Popped.
You're just trying to throw it back at me now, but that's fine. No, you could do that.
Deny it.
No, this is when you go. No, if you want to do that, I mean that's fine.
So, dude, this game fucking sucked, honestly. Because the Penguins dominated this entire game. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Yeah.
Quick made some. Shesterkin made some great saves that kept the Rangers in it. But I mean, that power play goal, Cooley's power play goal. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Again, it was just the Rangers had some good chances in the first period, but I mean they were very farly outplayed by the Penguins, and that was evident with Malkin's goal, his 10th of the year, and it was just like, I'm sorry, but like this is the problem. This is one of the biggest problems Rangers have. They can't defend the front of the net, and I understand Malkin is probably like absolute terrorist when it comes to being in front of the net. Huge body, veteran player, knows the ins and outs, exactly what to do. But he just makes Vakanainen look like minced meat in front of the net and scores like pretty easily. And it was your classic just battle in front, and here comes the puck. Malkin sees the puck, and he just kind of pushes Vakanainen and tips this puck in, and that was what was really happening almost every shift for the Penguins. I mean, it was just complete dominating. Okay. That Cooley goal, phenomenal wrist shot. You give Cooley time, space. Will Cooley's been a bright spot. 15th goal of the year for him. That's great. Tremendous for the rookie here.
Would you say he's almost kind of had you take everything into consideration, how he's looked, the effort. I mean, one of the best seasons on the team.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. Given his youth and what was anticipated of him this year. And he's someone who can get hot and go on a little bit of a run for a little stretch. We've seen that before this year. And, that was a great goal. Make it 1-1. And, you couldn't believe that it's 1-0, to be honest. It felt like it could have been 3-0 in favor of the Penguins, okay? And then second period, dude, again, Shesterkin, there were points where he was on his head, okay, making saves. Dude, I want to say, maybe for the first... Brian, I shit you not, 12 to 14 minutes of this period, the Rangers had no shots on goal.
I mean, what are we doing?
Not one shot on goal.
Yeah.
They were being outshot 28-5, dude. All right? And it was just, again, some good defensive plays, some phenomenal goaltending, and a little bit of luck in terms of why this game wasn't, still tied at 1. And, of course, the JT goal comes in at, again, I think there was maybe a little lucky bounce, Miller's stick. Rips it in, gets his 12th of the year. I want to say probably his 5th or 6th as a Ranger, which is crazy. But again, I mean, second period's over. Rangers are up 2-1, and you're on your knees thanking God at this point. And then third period, Shea, couple goals.
Yeah, how do you let him score 2?
I know, and his first 2 of the season as well. But again, that was how the Rangers, they were playing terrible hockey, dude. And then Jimmy Vesey, I think, again, this was maybe off of a little bit of a turnover. Vesey, the room, the space, phenomenal wrist shot. Maybe, I think it was probably over glove side of Bloomquist. That makes it 3-3. The Foxy goal was nice. Of course, JT at the end. So the Rangers, again, they pull one out of their ass here to get the victory. That's huge. And again, I would hope it changes some of the attitude here. It should be a humbling experience at the very least. Like, you should be so grateful you came away from this game with 2 points because your play was god awful. Okay, dude. Again, losing battles. Okay, the one-on-one matchups were not working. Okay, the turnovers, Brian. Again, you see Panarin just trying to dangle his way through somebody. It's absolutely stifled. Okay, like whatever you're trying to do is not working. All right. They got so lucky. All right. And I will say, dude, not for nothing, like, I want to say it was, VC's goal, Cooley's goal, probably even JT Miller's goal. I mean, I don't know. I mean, those goals came from individual efforts. Okay. And I think a lot of the goals happen that way. And I think that's a big problem on the ice because they don't play as a team. They do play as if they are individuals trying to figure something out. Like I said, I'll throw Panarin under the bus again. Like, when he gets the puck, it seems like he forgets about other people on the ice and tries to make something happen when it's like, dude, you have a man open, all right? And I can't tell you how many times, like, we have offensive, success here in terms of the zone, offensive zone gained, all right? You're set up. You're running around. You're cycling. You're keeping the puck, you're keeping the possession. And there's a good pass being made. And instead of a shot, instead of a one-timer, there's like a split second of let me see what's going on, where it's like, I want to see the one-timers, all right? I want to see them accurate. I want to see them on goal. Like, are we not practicing that?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it,
It's embarrassing.
Dude. And the times where there are one-timers, it's fucking 8 feet wide of the net.
It is.
Like,
it is, yeah.
Like, that is, to me, simple hockey. Ways you can include the team, get people going. Like, one-time goals are sick. All right, dude? And as the passer, even as the secondary assist, man, you feel good about it. Because it's a sweet, quick play, team effort. And instead, which is fine. I love watching Cooley, the wristers, ripping it, and even Jimmy Vesey, dude. And it makes me think, dude, to go back to what you said, that Jimmy Vesey said, that he's wasting his talent here. I mean, is talent being wasted? I had this conversation this weekend, actually. Someone was like talking about the Rangers. She's like, I can't believe, like, it just seems that the Rangers are so bad at developing talent. And it's like, and then I see VC score kind of, again, individual effort here on Sunday. And I'm like, you know what, dude? Like maybe it's not VC's fault on why he hasn't been good, because he was drafted by the Rangers, or at least started his career with the Rangers and amounted to almost nothing. And maybe because there was just a lack of developed talent. I mean, Miller is another example. He left the Rangers and had his best years, Any player on the team now, like, isn't really a developed. Chris Kreider's not having a good year, even though he's the closest thing to develop talent. Everyone else is gone, dude. Hedl is gone. Kakko is gone. Lafreniere is still underwhelming. Like, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's just obviously you want to salvage this season, but it's tough to be that optimistic that if you are able to squeak in that, you could do anything. But, that journey will continue tomorrow against the Islanders. So rivalry game, UPS, and that's going to be 7:30. So they're a team that's right behind you in the standings, a few points back. So you have to win that game, and you actually play them 2 of your next 4 games. We'll also play them 1 week from today at the Garden, and then you're sandwiched in between that is a Friday home game against Toronto and a Sunday home game against the Predators.
I mean, not for nothing, dude. Like, Islanders, Toronto, even
Islanders
the Predators.
have lost 3 in a row. They're just as desperate.
They are very desperate, but Toronto's a good team. Predators, they suck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, next 3 games, you're looking at, let's take 2 out of 3 here. You want to try to maintain a sense of positivity, but I don't think I've ever felt this way after a win,
Yeah.
Where
no,
I just
and I
don't
see
feel good.
It felt lucky, and it just felt like it was really a 1-goal game. They outplayed you, and they're one of the worst teams in the league. And then you just got shellacked by one of the other worst teams in the league the game before.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not good, dude. It doesn't really feel great. Like you said, confidence is waning. I am a fan. I'm not gonna say it can't happen. Listen, if this team does make the playoffs, like that's how championships are born. It's just by making the playoffs and flipping that switch. And I still will stand by that. The roster has the talent to be able to do that. But obviously it comes down to the players on the ice and how they execute. But I have another, Brian. If they don't make the playoffs,
Laviolette gone.
Laviolette has to be gone.
Drury gone.
See, I don't know. It's interesting because I had the same conversation again this weekend. It's like you touch upon Chris Drury, and you want to say like, all right. I mean, not for nothing. Like he's like, what do you want out of a GM? Like, what do you? I
just go back to this offseason. And really, the offseason before that, you hung on to guys that were getting a little older, still were productive. You could have retooled. You could have gotten younger, and you didn't. You know what I mean? And it's like we say that. These guys, these stars are so hard to acquire. But I just happen to think of this. Like, think back to when the Panthers got Matthew Tkachuk. You know what I mean? Like, they gave up Jonathan Huberdeau, Tony. It's just like we could have gotten somebody so much better for Mika, for Kreider, for Panarin years ago, and we didn't do that. And now we're stuck with what to lean on other than, hoping that Gabe Perreault is, the next, all-time Mount Rushmore legend, right?
No, I agree, but I will say, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think like betting on these guys for another year, I don't think necessarily at the time was a bad idea. I'm not gonna say Chris Drury has made any mistakes, but I will say, I don't know. I think one of the bigger things I look at for a GM is someone who just will make moves, when that time comes. And not for nothing, I mean, he did make moves. Like, he made quite a few significant trades this year, Bringing in Will Borgen, giving him an extension, that was a good thing to do. All right, getting rid of Trouba, that was a good thing to do. All right? Kaliev, although it really hasn't developed the way I wanted him to.
I think they haven't played him enough.
They haven't played him enough.
Yeah.
But is that like a Laviolette thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think the moves that Drury had made during this regular season, I was like, kind of like, I wouldn't say impressed, but just like, especially for someone like Chris Drury, who it seemed like, he doesn't want to move on from mistakes. He'd rather keep doubling down to say he was right, at the end. He left. He moved on from quite a couple guys here. So I don't know. I mean, it is tough, I mean, and it's like, Drury does have a good eye for what is a good hockey player, all right? Obviously, betting on this roster was the wrong move, I suppose. I mean, it's just, I don't know. To me, it is tough to put the blame on him, at least a lot of the blame, because it does feel like it's coaching and it's player execution more so. And player development, I mean, it's not, Drury can pick them, I suppose, but it's up to the coaching staff to develop them, right?
Yeah.
I think there's more, more fault there in the developmental process, all right, and bringing these guys together and putting, not necessarily getting the right guys together, but I guess just putting the right ideas in their head, I suppose, on the ice. But if Drury is gone after this year, after not making the playoffs, I suppose I'm not, not missing him that much,
Right.
But I mean, I think that, beyond Laviolette, you should see some significant personnel changes, because there's no way, like, you can't have another year like that, dude.
No.
Like this.
No. So we'll have to see. Obviously just hoping for the best at this point, hoping for the run, but it'll start against the Islanders tomorrow. NHL bad job, light slate once again tonight, or 2 games.
Yeah, very bad job, dude. I don't know if they think they're competing with someone or what, or I mean, I guess it was a big weekend for them, but I mean, I don't know, dude. What the hell? 2 games?
Who do you think is going to rate better, the rerun of The Rookie on ABC or the Sharks Jets on the NHL Network?
I would be willing to say Sharks Jets, honestly. I think kind of decisively. The Jets are having a great year. Come on.
No, then you got Celebrini, which makes it a little better.
He's having a good year, too.
Yeah.
41 points.
18 goals, yeah.
Like, that's great, dude.
Yeah.
See, that's a talent. That is great, dude. Like, why?
It'd be nice to draft somebody like that, right?
Imagine, when the Rangers had, like, high first-round draft picks. Like, imagine that they drafted better and had a guy who can make an impact immediately.
And didn't completely whiff.
And I really wonder, like, I mean, not for nothing, dude, on a team that fucking sucks. I mean, I'm supposed he gets a lot of time, gets the puck a lot, but still, I mean, 41 points for a rookie year. And is he 19 now? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Good year. So, yeah, 2 games, Tony. So I know it's, as you would say, a bittersweet, but let's do a Monday Frozen Frenzy brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm.
You know the deal, dude. All right, Brian said it, dude. Light slate, very light slate here on this Monday, February 24th to start off this new week. But you know what, dude? It's fine. Okay, there'll be better hockey down the road of the week. All right, but Monday here, 7:30, NHL Network, our first game. As I said, we're going to be going to Winnipeg, Canada Life Center here. The Jets against the Sharks. Talk about a tale of two seasons of two teams. The Jets 40-14-3. The Sharks 15-36-7. If you want to guess about the odds here, you would guess correctly if you say the Jets are favored here. -500 on the money line. Over under is 5.5. The Jets, in terms of being hot, I mean, I think they're on a 7-game win streak. Maybe even, doesn't matter, though. They've been great. They just beat St. Louis, 2 days ago? Had to go to a shootout, but took care of business for their first game back since Four Nations. Sharks, I guess, haven't played.
Yeah, since the break.
Which is kind of crazy. I guess they'll be well-rested, but are you going to be going chalk, Brian, or is it the plus 360 for the Sharks?
I love, just going with the Sharks a lot, but not this time. I think the Jets are too good. Hellebuck at bay. I don't think the Sharks put anything past Hellebuck, honestly. I think it's a shutout. It's a 4-0 shutout. And I think Hellebuck 30 of 30 in net, continuing to pad his lead there on shutouts across the National Hockey League. So give me the Jets and the under.
Yeah, like that call there. That would be his 7th shutout of the season, by the way. Obviously leading the league. Obviously phenomenal. And getting his 35th win of the year as well. I'll say Kyle Connor, a great player I think was underutilized on the USA team. I'd say he gets a hat trick tonight. All right. Sharks win 5-0. All right, dude. Let's go next game here.
The Jets.
Oh, sorry. Jets win 5-0, dude. So let's go to the next game here. Oh, goddamn. 10:30 p.m. here. We're going to L.A. I got to say, this team matches up, I feel like, very often against each other. Kings, Golden Knights, silver and gold action. Maybe that's what it is here. But in L.A., we have the Kings here, -115. Jack Eichel obviously coming off a great tournament, a great year for the Knights. Over-under is 5.5 here. Regular season series is tied at 1. Last time these two teams play, even though it didn't feel like it happens often, was back in October. Kings took care of business against Utah. Golden Knights over the weekend took care of business against Vancouver. Both teams picking up where they left off before the Four Nations break. Who's budging here, dude?
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, how do you go against the Kings 18-3-2 at home? But I just think the Knights are the better team. And I think this is a competitive game, but I think Eichel all jacked up, Tony. 2 goals and an assist. I think a tight one, but let's say 4-3, Knights in overtime. Knights in the over. I'm
going to go with the Kings here, buddy. I'm going with my boys in silver. Kevin Fiala over the weekend, I don't know if you saw it, had some ridiculous goal dangle between the legs of the defender, making him look like minced meat, dude. I say he gets 2 goals and an assist tonight, heating up for the Kings, along with a couple maybe usual suspects here. I would say this is some high-octane hockey, keeping it tight, maybe high scoring. I say at the end of the day, Kings 4, Knights 3. So that's your LA Kings and the over for this frenzy, dude.
And just like that, that is your Frozen Frenzy, brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm. So a 2-pack, Tony. So a little bit light in terms of the sports slate, and we know all about the potential Yankee and Met rainouts. So maybe we'll pray for a miracle. Probably not. Bunch of NBA. Knicks fans tight, blown out by the Celtics yesterday, 118-105.
Oh, yeah, dude.
A lot of I think 0-7 against the top 3 teams in the league.
You can't have that, dude.
Yeah. So just really creates a question of, what they're going to do in the playoffs. And I know, Knicks fans just not feeling great. I mean, let's be real here. All of a sudden, the Warriors are red hot, 126-102 over Dallas, by the way. That game was actually on at the bar. Curry hit a couple threes. He had 30. Jimmy Butler's home debut had 18. So be interested to see if they could, work their way, up the ladder. Yeah, we're moving along there. College basketball, a couple good games tonight.
Really?
Some top 25 matchups.
Providence?
No Providence, but you do have Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan number 12. A little sketchy line there. 1.5-point favorites for Michigan. 20-6 versus Nebraska, 17-10. A top 10 matchup. Houston hosting number 9 Texas Tech.
Stop it.
Houston minus 1.5. That was an overtime game last time they played. 9. And then number 23 Kansas at Colorado, 6.5-point favorite. So few games on the docket. Michael's saying call down the Knicks being pretenders. Tony.
I mean, he did. He did. He said at the end of the day, right? They're not going to be not necessarily a playoff team, but a team that could go deep in the playoffs. And I mean, not for nothing, that is the narrative currently right now. But I still feel like that, I mean, wasn't that kind of always in question a little bit this year? I know maybe not for Knicks fans, but just for the general like NBA analysis people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they thought, upper part of the league, but not, the top, contenders.
Mm-hmm. And the Celtics are really good, dude. It is kind of crazy.
I know, but they're not winning still. Don't you think?
Who thinks they're going to win, honestly? Honestly,
Tony,
honestly,
if I had to, Oklahoma City.
Really?
Yeah.
How far do you think Cleveland goes? Cleveland took care of business against the Knicks too, dude.
They did. But I say Cleveland, maybe Eastern Conference Finals lose to the Celtics. Celtics lose to the Thunder. Let's go.
Wow, dude. That'd be kind of crazy if that prediction comes through right now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, right?
We'll come back to it February 24th, Monday.
Yeah. Write it down. Ovechkin, by the way, 3 goals, too. I forgot about that.
It's at the Hattie Boom Batty for Alex Ovechkin,
Tommy
dude.
Riled.
Yeah, dude. He's going to break that fucking record probably, dude. Which is kind of crazy.
You think this season? He's going to have to really, go have another hat trick.
What is he, 12 to go? 13 to go. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Listen, the hat trick, we said it before. Like any given week, he could give a hat trick, dude. And you better bet your bottom dollar, Mike.
Michael. Nothing over there, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. No, just wanted to make sure.
You keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying I think that it's possible he could go on the bender, and it's just crazy that the Capitals find themselves where they are in terms of in the playoffs here. Leading the points of the Eastern Conference and the NHL. They're 1 point ahead of Winnipeg, which is pretty impressive. Who would have thought? And it just hasn't been, what just Ovechkin. I mean, it's been the entire team. I mean, you look at it, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with 40 points, and then you have 2 guys, Carlson and Chitrurin, who are just outside of 40. So they're just getting scoring, from all over. And it's going to be really exciting to see them come playoff time.
The Capitals.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. It's going to be really interesting, I guess when that happens. And if they go into the postseason with Ovechkin breaking that record, I mean, you're probably talking about, like a team's momentum that you would never see before. I mean, that record's never been broken. So, I mean, it's going to be really crazy to see if Ovi on that type of season could bust out another cup. Especially because for the Capitals, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, he's been with the specifically on the Capitals for his entire career, boasting all those numbers. But not for nothing, he does only have 1 cup to show for it. So there was always a lot of doubt of Ovechkin going to the cup, winning a cup finally, and then obviously after winning his first one, people were like, this could be the only one. Like, people thought he was going to leave the Capitals, honestly, and maybe go somewhere else. I won one with Washington. I did my job. I can go now to a better team so I can just win more cups and I get my own stats up, sort of deal. But obviously, he's sticking with the Caps, and he has an opportunity to win them another cup for Washington, which is pretty outrageous.
And it's kind of tough because, the Rangers used to battle with the Capitals. Obviously, they're in the same conference. But if let's say hypothetically, Rangers eliminated, do you want to see it, or is it? I mean, what do you think with that?
Do I want to see the Capitals win it?
If the Rangers are out,
I mean, no.
Go West.
Yeah, there'd be other teams I would root for. I'd rather see Winnipeg get it, honestly. or even Colorado. A lot of teams out of the West would be cool. L.A.
Edmonton
even.
or the Capitals?
What the hell, man? What kind of question is that, dude? To be honest. I mean, I guess if you have to ask, I don't know. I guess Edmonton, right? I mean, that would be.
That's it.
I mean,
surprised.
Listen, growing up, I mean, it was Ovechkin was like the biggest problem for the Rangers in the playoffs. Like, not to mention the regular season as well. You know, I mean, like, I remember specifically, dude, there was like this overtime goal he had, coast to coast, scores the goal on his knees. Oh, like there's a lot of nightmares, I feel like, for Rangers fans when it comes to playing the Capitals, dude. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like when I was in high school, almost every year, it was them in the first round, too. It was either them or the Penguins, I guess. But it was a lot of times them, you know? Kind of crazy. So I guess at that point, I would rather not see the Capitals win it. You know?
And then also, how about Ernie saying, by the way, OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5. What do you think about that?
Dude. I mean, I think it'd be really tough for the Lakers to win it, I suppose. It's kind of funny. But I don't know, dude. Lakers in 5 would be kind of crazy.
Luka did have a big game over the weekend.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of different rumors about Luka right now in the Lakers and why he was traded, and is he really happy? What are the Mavericks going to do? Is he going to be re-signed to the Lakers, sort of deal?
Well, he definitely is, because LeBron's going to retire. He's in LA. Like, he's not going to leave the Lakers.
You really think that?
Oh, 100%. He's not going anywhere. Okay. And they blew out Denver on the
Lakers.
road,
Yeah.
123-100. Luka,
Buckta was riled.
32, 10, and 7. So, you know, it's something to monitor for sure. And then Ernie also said, sorry, just got banged. I didn't know what league you were on, with the crying emoji, and then says, do the Winnipeg Jets win a championship for the New York Jets, which I would say unequivocally, Tony, yes. Right?
Yeah.
Hellebuck. Honestly, that's the reason.
Hellebuck, dude. A lot of good things over there for Winnipeg.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's really where, you know, we are at. And you know, we'll talk about the spring training games tomorrow if we get them. Obviously, there'll be a lot of Ranger Islander discussion as well. But definitely good to be back from the weekend. Big week ahead. And really appreciate everybody today who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at DowntimeTV.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.